All right, John Sterling here. Listen, I help salespeople get started fast. I've got a podcast for you here today called Noob School, where we interview crazy good salespeople, outstanding VPs of sales, and business owners who are all successful and started in sales. We're going to drill back to when they were just getting going. We're going to learn about some of the smart things that they've done to help them crush it, and also some of the things that slowed them down. We're going to publish this podcast every Friday morning so you can get some juicy weekly tidbits. It's going to help make you better and better every week. So we'll help your sales career get launched like a rocket ship. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and believe it or not, TikTok. No dancing, I promise. Or maybe some dancing. SalesTrainingForNoobs.com is the website. Enjoy the Noob School. All right, story time. We're going to talk about the selling voice. Like, what should you sound like when you're in sales mode and you're talking to somebody? So let me take you through. There's a few different ways people talk to each other, and I'm going to go slow because it took me a while to understand this. But once I got it. It makes a lot of sense. So there's only three ways we communicate with each other. There's a parental way, okay? Like if your parent was talking. There's an adult way. That's just adult to adult. And then there's the child, okay? So the adult really only has one way to speak, and that's kind of like I'm speaking now, just direct, kind of monotone, and serious, right? Not messing around, just the facts. The parent can be one of two things. The parent can be critical, or the parent can be nurturing. And so a critical parent would sound something like, Frank, I just don't like the way these turbines are working in here. It's just not going to work well at all. I think our stuff should help. I think our stuff should help you, but it's just horrible the way they're looking, and I'm surprised you even had those here in the first place. So I was being the parent there talking to my prospect, and I was talking as a critical parent. And how do you think Frank felt? Not so good, right? He didn't want someone to come down on him like a critical parent would. And so I probably wouldn't get that deal, right? Frank would find a way to kind of get rid of me because he didn't want to hear it, that kind of stuff. Nobody does. The other way a parent talks is in a nurturing way. This is how that would sound. So Frank, yeah, I saw the turbines working there in the plant, and I know y'all have done everything you possibly can to fix them, and I give you full credit for doing your best there. But we're going to try to help you, and but I know it's not your fault, and so who wants to deal with that person, right? That's like mollycoddling your child, and nobody wants to hear that either. So we don't want to be criticized by the parent. We don't want to be mollycoddled by the parent. So now there's only, three. There's parent, there's child, there's adult. So now we're crossing off parents. So we're not going to be talking like a parent, okay? Now we're going to come down to the child. So the child is going to talk in two ways also. The child can be funny, right? The child could, if I was the child salesperson, I'd walk in and I'd say, "Oh, Frank, look at those turbines. This is crazy. I've never seen turbines like that before. I think we can help you. But, God, look at them. Look at them going. Probably a safety issue. Man, something could blow up there." So it's a very childlike, not serious approach to business. And, of course, you don't want to do that. That's not going to get you any business. And then the other way the child sometimes talks is in a petulant way. This is the petulant child. This is the spoiled child. So I would say, well, Frank, listen, those turbines are bad, and if you don't give us the business, then we've been coming here. We've been your vendor for 4 years now, and so I think we need the business to fix those turbines, or it would just not be fair. So that's the whiny, petulant child. And of course, I'm pretty sure we don't want to be that. Okay, so we've talked about the nurturing parent, the critical parent, petulant child, the funny child. We want you to be, to answer your question, we want you to be the adult, okay, the adult in the room. And that sounds something like I did earlier, which is, Frank, thanks for letting me in here. We'll take a look at those turbines back there. Looks like you might need some of our help. We want to do a full evaluation. We're going to come back. We're going to give you our recommendations. If it works for you, great. If not, no big deal. That's an adult conversation, and that's where you want to get. Now, the question comes, what happens if they're not talking like an adult? Well, it's our job as salespeople to pull them in our direction. And so if they're behaving like a child, you want to pull them up to adult, or a parent, you want to pull them down. And a way you would do that is just by saying, now, Frank, I know some of this, like if they were being, let's say, a funny child, he would say, Frank, I know it is kind of humorous. I mean, I see where you're coming from, but if you don't mind, let's pull this thing up and let's just talk business, just straight business for a few minutes. And so that old saying, let's talk business or let's get down to business, it's our job to bring them to an adult business conversation. You can do it with your words, you can do it with your tone, you can do it with your body language. You can say, okay, now, let's get down to business. Let's talk serious about this for a few minutes. Before we go back to having a good time, before he's talking about going to get the wings and the beer later, let's talk business for just 5 minutes about these turbines. And so you can do it in multiple ways, but it's our job, adult to adult conversation about those darn turbines. And by all means, you know what you're supposed to do, and you also know it's your responsibility to bring them up to the same conversation level that you want to have. And that's the answer to the question. That's what you want your sales voice to be, and it'll make your selling life a lot easier. It will also make the rest of your life easier when you recognize that in other people, and you can try to bring your life to a more adult to adult type of communication. So good luck to you.